Let's quickly move to La Liga. La Liga looked interesting, fun in the opening weekend, not for yours truly. Like it was raining and didn't even get to see a goal at Spotify Camp Nou. Unbelievable. But we got some interesting fixtures here. James Bench, let's begin with you. What do you think? What do you like here from match day 2?
I mean, it's got to be the most boring team in La Liga. Sociedad against dreary old Barcelona.
Barcelona.
Yeah. I wonder if Jules Koundé will be available and stick him up front for the final 10 minutes if they're chasing a goal. But this should be a real test. I mean, Sociedad's a team where the identity, the players haven't changed a huge amount. And Barcelona, everything has changed. That's a really fun test for me. And it's also, interestingly, one that's going to be available on UK TV, on ITV, which is quite a significant move as La Liga sort of tries to build back its identity and win some neutral viewers around. I'm going to do a little score prediction for you as well. I think Barcelona are going to win this 4-3, just to really wind you up.
That would be so annoying.
Oh man. Well, the game I'm picking is Celta Vigo Real Madrid. This game does not fail to deliver in terms of drama. One of the more overlooked games in La Liga, because typically this game has title implications for Real Madrid. Every year that they've won a title in the last, let's say, 5 years, they've had to go to Vigo and get a heroic performance, a game where they typically don't play their best soccer, but their difference makers show up, whether it's Cristiano Ronaldo in the years past, Kareem the Dream showing up last season. 3-2 seems to be the golden scoreline against Vigo. Iago Aspas loves to play against Madrid. I don't see that changing whatsoever. Interesting caveat for Real Madrid, though. I think, who do you start in this game? Luka Modric on the bench, Casemiro on the bench. Casemiro, please, is my one United hit. Please, Casemiro. If you like Nando's, if you like rain, please come to Manchester. We need you. All right, got that out of the way. But that's going to be my game of the week. I think I see Madrid winning it. I see them winning, well, shocker, 3-2.
I'm not sure if Casemiro does know what Nando's is, but I'm sure he'd like it. Whether he likes rain, I think, is an entirely different debate. I'm really tempted to go for Atleti Villarreal, but I'm actually going to go for a shameless plug instead. I wrote a piece on Real Betis earlier today. I was really impressed with the way that they started the season, winning 3-0 at home to Elche. That doesn't sound that special, but it was actually a 1-0 defeat at home against Elche that sort of basically put the nail in the coffin for their Champions League hopes last season. It's a fantastic documentary out on Copper 90 at the moment about how special Betis is a club. Cannot recommend it highly enough. And, I think there's just this feel-good factor around Betis at the moment. And if they can make the most of their winnable early season fixtures, now Mallorca's not the easiest away day, but it's also not the most difficult. And I think if Pellegrini has his task made a little bit easier for him with some players returning, then, I think Betis, if they can make a fast start to this season, I can really see them making a good fist of trying to qualify for the Champions League. Let's not forget, they were only 5 points off of it last season, and it was their bitter rival Sevilla who finished just ahead of them. And now Sevilla, I mentioned it in the pod earlier this week, that I think they look a lot weaker than they have done in previous seasons. So I think the time is right for Betis to try and strike and, basically make that jump into the top 4, perhaps at Sevilla's expense. But the other thing that kind of hit me, and I hate to bring up Forest again, is the fact that you've got Betis players rejecting a move to Forest, yet Forest outspending Champions League hopefuls like Betis, and Betis can't even register their signings so far, given the contract extensions they've given players, the unexpected Joaquin staying on for a year. I think it just illustrates really well sort of some of the challenges that La Liga are up against right now, and also kind of makes even more of a mockery of the Barca situation as well. So for me, I'm going to go 2-1 Betis winning that.
I love it. Maybe Pellegrini gets in there with that fine first touch that he has. We have to quickly touch on Atleti Villarreal. Both won 3-0 in the opening weekends. I have high hopes for Joao Felix this season. I've been saying that for 3 years. I think that this is finally the one where he gets up. But also the kid that plays for Villarreal, Nicholas Jackson, the Senegalese guy that started in youth career, he looks very tasty, 21 years old. Watch out for him. This should be hopefully a goal-scoring fest, and hopefully it'll be a draw for the neutral. I see it as a 2-0, but wouldn't be surprised if Atleti win. All right, let's wrap everything up, everybody, with the Jonathan Johnson hour here. I want us to just give us the lowdown here on PSG, obviously, we talked about them recently. Neymar doing great so far. Messi, of course, feeling a little bit fresher. Kylian Mbappe, there might be a rift there, but still, under Galtier, PSG look good, although it's going to be hard for PSG not to look good. However, they're playing Lille, Galtier's former side. What do you see in this game? What can we look out for? Because this should be pretty much the first tasty match of the French League in 2022-2023.
Yeah, indeed. I mean, it seems weird to be talking about a clash between the top two in Ligue after just 2 rounds of matches, but that's where we are. Good to see that LOSC are looking a bit stronger than they did last season. It was a very underwhelming attempt at a title defense. They've changed things around, and now with Paulo Fonseca on the bench, I think that he is going to be a worthy adversary for Galtier. And this is a really good test to see sort of how far PSG really have come, because we've seen them thump Clermont, we've seen them thump Montpellier. With all due respect to those 2 teams, I expect them to be dwelling in the bottom half of the table this season. So Lille, with some of the additions that they've made so far in this transfer window, I think they've made another fantastic one in picking up Alain Virginius, a very talented youngster from Sochaux during the week. I think that this one could be the first time that we see PSG really tested. The whole thing with the potential tension between Mbappe, Neymar, and Messi, I mean, I think really it's as simple as this. Mbappe was suspended for the Trophée des Champions at the beginning of the season. Then he picked up an injury, and he's seen Neymar and Messi go on early season tears in terms of their goal scoring form. I think once he starts getting back amongst the goals, he'll chill out a little bit. But we did already say it on the podcast, he has to be taken off penalty taking duty.
But is he going to sort of face any punishment for? I mean, more so than the penalties. I thought that you see that happen a lot, but I have not seen a player just stop attacking like Mbappe did in that last game and just throw a hissy fit.
But do we know, was it definitely a hissy fit? Or was it just because
he turned around and walked away?
Yeah, I know. It was weird. I'm trying to give him the benefit of the doubt, I guess. It's like, what's going on, JJ? The latest.
Well, the official line out of the club and also out of Mbappe's mother is that anything that goes on within the team gets handled internally. And I think that's a big difference already for PSG. You see when you've got guys like Luis Campos in particular, who also, is coming up against his former club, because let's not forget, he was the architect of that Lille title winning squad from a couple of years ago. They've handled it internally. It'll be interesting to see if there is a difference in his behavior now, but I think it's already been made clear to him, it's unacceptable.
But that answers James Benja's point, I think, because there is a problem then. Yeah.
Will Director of Football Kylian Mbappe have fined star forward Kylian Mbappe 2 weeks ago?
The DOF.
Yeah, it's the football version of customer service saying, please hold on, I'm getting them.
I mean, look at it from Mbappe's point of view. Would you not be like a little bit pissed off that Neymar and Messi have just suddenly started playing after like a year of doing nothing?
Oh, for sure.
Putting the team on,
he has a point. He has a point. But to Benja's point, it's very weird in a game to just be like, all right, screw it. Like, they're not passing it to me. Boo hoo.
Yeah, I don't think doesn't sound great for PSG if the response to 2 players like stopping phoning it in is Mbappe's like, well, I'm going to phone it in now.
Everybody has a point. What's your prediction for this game, JJ?
I'm going to go narrow PSG win. I think they'll be made to work for it. I'll say 2-1, which seems to be, coming up quite a lot in terms of the score predictions this weekend. But I definitely think this will be the toughest test for PSG so far. And I think that we'll see a more concerted effort from Mbappe, Neymar, and Messi to be playing together and coexisting nice and peacefully. Let's not forget, it's never a dull minute at PSG. There is always some drama. So expect something to kick off that we can sink our teeth into next week.
Absolutely. Mike, chime in on this game and give me a prediction.
No, Kylian Mbappe, no stranger to controversy in the last 6 months. Also had a little bit of a bust up in the media with Rabiot and his mom, which is never, when I say that out loud, that
you must be devastated that they're not rocking up at Old Trafford.
Oh my gosh, I would give a dreadlock to have them rocking it up and bring this drama. Kylian, Casemiro, not Rabiot, we don't need you. But
Rabiot doesn't want you. That's what's
because he's asking for half the stadium in his wage demands. But JJ, question for you: a team outside of this game that has caught my eye. They caught my eye last year, Monaco. Disappointing result in the Champions League qualifier, losing out to PSV, I think 4-3 on aggregate. And They got 4 points out of their first 2 games, but slow start for them. What do you make of their team this season? Do you think they could be out and out contenders, or where do you see them competing in Liga?
Yeah, I mean, it's good to chat about them because they are a team who I think really should be sort of, the best of the rest in Ligue 1, sort of targeting that second spot behind PSG. You're right, the result against PSV was really, really disappointing. I think the performance generally over the tie wasn't quite good enough. And Monaco, with all due respect to PSV and what they're doing under Ruud van Nistelrooy, Monaco really should still be in the Champions League for me. I think they have a squad good enough, to get into the group stages, but also on the other side of the coin, perhaps, Monaco going straight into the Europa League, they can better their showing last season, which was also quite underwhelming, and make a deep run, because a deep run that potentially sees them win the Europa League is perhaps more valuable than them being in the group stage and maybe getting dumped out and then dropping into the Europa League. That's me trying to, look at it in a positive way. I think Monaco missing out on Soumaré from Leicester at this moment in time could be a bit of a blow, because they do really need to replace Tchouaméni in midfield, especially with Fofana now suspended. But they're coming up against a very tough Lens side, one of my favorite teams in Ligue 1 to watch. I'm a massive fan of Francaise, and I think this is going to be a tough test for Monaco. They can't really afford to drop more points, but also at the same time, Lens, if they want to get themselves in and amongst the European chasing pack, are going to need to pull off something of an upset. So Monaco, I definitely think, should be targeting that second spot behind PSG, and they have the manpower to do it. But I do think that Paul Mitchell needs to get active in the last couple of weeks of the transfer window, especially if the Soumaré deal doesn't get resurrected, because it sounds like Leicester are asking more than Monaco are willing to pay at this moment in time.
All right, fantastic stuff. What a great weekend preview. And we didn't even go deep on Arsenal, to James Benge's sadness. But let's do final thoughts, everybody. And don't forget, by the way, to follow us on Twitter, Qué Golazo Pod, youtube.com/Qué Golazo. Again, thank you so much for 20,000 subscribers. Let's keep climbing. James Benge, final thoughts, my friend.
Yeah, the big thing I'm interested in, it's not even going to be happening on the football pitch. I'm going to try and keep this brief, but the talking point of the Premier League right now, it's not quite, is the price of the pint at the London Stadium. £7.20.
What?
£7.20 on Thursday night for the Europa Conference League game. Now, and this is interesting because West Ham don't own their stadium, the London Stadium, 2012 Olympics. It's owned by London Legacy Corporation. I don't want to get too much into the nitty gritty, but it means
but you do.
Oh, I do. I'd love to do a whole podcast on this. But to briefly keep on point, it effectively means West Ham don't have the right to set the price for their own pints. However, the agreement they have with the owners of the stadium means that the price should be set in line with other stadia. Most of the time in London, even in a football stadium, you can get a pint for about £6, which is massively overpriced, but as is. This is really interesting stuff. I mean,
it's a lot. It's a lot of money.
Huge amount of money for a club.
Left England when it was like $3.20. This is just
you wouldn't even get that in the north now.
No chance.
You know what, guys? I have the smallest violin in the world right here, because a pint in Paris costs like upwards of €10.
That's ridiculous.
That's without even going anywhere near a football stadium.
Well, this is the beautiful thing about being in Spain, because water is more expensive than beer right here. So that's fine. Yeah. But $7.20 is a lot, James Bench. That's a lot. How much is it at the Emirates?
I don't know, man. I get all my food for free there.
Okay.
Castbox privileges.
Now we're moving on. Mike Lahoud, final thoughts.
This is the point, and I know it's still early on, but this is the point in the European seasons that I'm looking to see which summer arrival can just get going. With Liverpool, we saw Darwin Nunez open his scoring account and also do the WWE and headbutt someone. Erling Haaland had open his account. But I'm looking throughout Europe to see which summer signings can start making a splash. Do we see Lewandowski get the weight of the world off his shoulders? Do we see a standout display from Tchouaméni from Real Madrid? But that's what I'm keeping an eye on this week. And to your point, LME, I now see why alcohol is cheaper than water. It's probably what the Barcelona accounting team was drinking when they filled out the books. So I'm just going to leave it at that.
On Barcelona. The shade. Jonathan Johnson, final thoughts, buddy.
Well, you know what? On that topic of expensive drinking out in Paris, Mike Lahoud, I recommend you take out a bank loan before you come over for your trip in a couple of months' time. Refinance the house or whatever you need to do.
Yeah.
I'm used to that feeling after my recent holiday to Sardinia. No, last shout out. We didn't give it too much love on the show today. There's a couple of really exciting Bundesliga matches coming up. Borussia Dortmund at home to Werder Bremen. You got Wolfsburg against Schalke. Werder and Schalke having bounced back immediately from the Bundesliga's vice. So definitely going to be keeping half an eye on what's going on in Germany this week, as well as my favorite team in the Bundesliga, which is FC Köln.
Absolutely. Well done, Jonathan Johnson. So we don't get the Bundesliga faithful yelling at us because we didn't preview anything. But my only final thought is good luck, Mike Lahoud. Austin FC against Gareth Bale's LAFC this weekend. Should be a fun game. I believe if I'm looking at the standings, it's first against second, right?
Oh, that's next weekend. This is Minnesota
That's
United,
next weekend.
which is
Who do you have this weekend?
second against fifth. So still big game. It's the tee up before the big one. And,
Everton's conquerors, Minnesota United.
You know what? Last time I spoke on that, I got absolutely just bushwhacked by you two. So I'm gonna stay mum over it. Meds are working today.
Well, I'll tell you something, Austin FC, let's hope you have a really good season and then get into the playoffs. And then Ian Poljoy has his ring. Let's get you a ring for MLS. That would be fun, baby. I love it.
Right hand needs it. Left hand's got one. Right hand needs it.
Because, it's definitely not coming from Old Trafford.